Chris Hansen here of Hansen vs. Predators. To catch a predator and have a seat with Chris Hansen, I'm going to need all of you to have a seat right over there because I've been going through some transcripts and there's something you need to know. You're watching TTFT. I'll be watching as well.
So, you want to do the Candyman challenge?
Fuck no. I challenge you not to ask me that stupid shit anymore. Black people got it hard enough. Every day is fucking challenges. You do the shit.
Fair enough. Candyman. Candyman. Candyman.
Oh, shit.
And Candyman.
See what I'm talking about? Candyman. This shit ain't sweet.
Hello, my boys. Welcome back to the internet. Dirt and Godfrey.
Wow, okay. Yeah.
Did not see that coming, did you?
Nope.
I saw the big hello and I kept thinking about, hello.
I had the what the fuck is up internet's locked and loaded. Yep, I went left, you went right.
There we go. Meet in the middle. Welcome back, guys.
Yes, literally this morning, what happened? What happened this morning? I called you, I sent you a screenshot. Tell the beautiful people.
We would like to, I'll just let the Wayans brothers tell them. More money, more money, more money, more. That's right, guys. As of today, the TTFT show is fully monetized. Partnership with YouTube. Guys, couldn't have did it without you.
Thank you. And yeah, we're rich now. Pretty much.
This is exactly why we're still working.
Oh, but we do say all that to say this. Don't skip those ads.
Please don't skip those ads. Please don't trim that fat. You wouldn't know that's from Norbert. You don't know that.
Nope, I never will.
Oh my gosh, get it together.
All right, so yeah, we made it into the YouTube Partner Program. Now the goal is to stay in the YouTube Partner Program and not get our asses booted. So, you know, we're not gonna change much. We're just gonna cross our fingers and hope that they accept us as we are. Before we get into what we're covering this episode, I wanted to talk about something. We posted something a while back called Back to the Fucking Future. Mm-hmm. We want to create a film that is a collaboration between filmmakers from everywhere. And really, filmmakers, I'm going to use that term really loosely here because we want anybody that has from filmmakers to people that have never picked up a camera but have always wanted to. This would be your opportunity to give it a shot. We're going to take Back to the Future and we're going to break it down by scenes. And we would like for everybody to come together, pick their scene. Everybody shoot one scene and you can interpret it however you'd like to. Artistic freedom will prevail in this little operation. And then we'll take all of the scenes that everybody has shot, put them together, and create our own version, our own suited version of Back to the Future, which we're going to call Back to the Fucking Future.
That's going to be one badass DeLorean, man.
Yeah, so we got to put more details together and work out the logistics of how everything will go. But just wanted to throw it out there now as a little teaser. So if you're interested at all in being a part of that, send us a message or post a comment so we could be sure to get the details to you once we work everything out.
Hey man, ain't none of my business. Today, we are covering Candyman. The Candyman can. But not the original. We are doing the rebooted version of Candyman that came out this year.
Yeah, it is a sequel officially,
Officially a sequel, but
a standalone.
Rebooted to the So we'll get into that, guys. And if you don't know, if you've never seen the homage, if you've never seen the original. When we talk about homage, if you've never seen the original Candyman, guys, please go check it out, because I mean, here's the thing: you don't need to see the original to see this one, but it really does help. And I mean, like as a child, it's just one of those. You saw the intro. That's one of the games I'm not fucking playing. Even to this day, I'm not fucking around with it.
Nope.
If you try to say it during this I'll flip this whole fucking table over if you just try. I'm not saying Candyman or Man Candy. Neither one of those words inverted or together I'm fine.
But you do keep seeing dick.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Well, 600 people out there do.
And that's even weirder. 600 freaks. Man freaks. Women freaks.
And
freaks.
Speaking of the original Candyman, before we get into the sequel, Tony Todd.
Oh yeah.
That the original sexy
chocolate man.
Like the voice.
He was a sexy, creepy voice. Motherfucking, and first I didn't don him that, number one, so don't even try to set me up with that. But no,
I just thought you would appreciate it.
I mean, he's one of the icons out there. You got him, you got Keith Sweat, you got Barry White. There are a lot of voice icons out there. I mean, we just do what we do, man.
All right, let's do what we do, and we do our research.
Yes, we do.
All right, here is everything that you need to know about the production of Candyman. It was released August 27th, 2021. Some movies that were released around this time. Vacation Friends with John Cena and Lil Rel. Don't Breathe Part 2. Respect, the Aretha Franklin biopic. Beckett, starring John David Washington.
He does.
Ryan Reynolds' Free Guy, and James Gunn's The Suicide Squad.
Written by Nia DaCosta and Wynn Rosenfeld. But besides Candyman, Wynn has one previous writing credit on a previous Jordan Peele production, an episode of The Twilight Zone called The Who of You.
It was also written by Jordan Peele, and it was based on the characters created by Clive Barker and Bernard Rose.
Now again, you heard me mention the name earlier, Miss Nia DaCosta. She was also the director.
And aside from a few short films, including a Candyman short that she directed in 2020, Candyman is Nia's second feature film. She directed Little Woods in 2018.
Now, what she's up to now, she's currently filming The Marvel, scheduled for release in 2022. And it was recently announced that she will be directing The Lincoln Conspiracy, a TV series with no release date as of yet.
Candyman stars Tony Todd as Candyman.
Yahya Abdul-Mateen II, as I saved Durden from another miserable fail, as Anthony McCoy. Say his name one time fast.
Yahya Abdul-Mateen II. I had that locked and loaded. I was ready for that one.
That was good. That was good. I'll give you that. That was good. There you go. I watch you butcher the next name.
Oh, yeah, little Tay-Tay. Teyana Paris as Brianna Cartwright.
Nathan Stewart Jared as Troy Cartwright.
Coleman Domingo as William Burke.
Cal Kaminsky as Grady Greenberg.
And Vanessa Williams reprises her character as Anne Marie McCoy.
All right, now production dates. This was shot in August through October of 2019 with pickup shots in 2020.
It was shot in Chicago on a budget of $25 million. It made over $22 million in its opening weekend with a present total worldwide gross of nearly $69 million.
Shot time. All right, guys, you know what time it is. King of Connections. This is a segment to where we take connections from the film that may be going to any other universe, things that we may find intriguing or people may not know, and try to, weave these little 7 degrees of separation between these films. So, Durden, one of the first things I really noticed, and I'm surprised you didn't know, I'm not going to lie, I did look at your list, and you don't have this here. One of your favorite people in the world, your hall pass. What did you get your hall pass for?
Lupita.
Yeah. One of the things I really noticed was the opening scene in that score, you hear the little hints from what they did with us. Yeah. It's subtle, it's there, but I hear it. And of course, that the connection of that is Jordan Peele. While he didn't, of course, he was one of the writers on the film, and this is directed by someone else. It's those little things to put you in the mindset of, it brought me into, like they said, you don't know what's happening underground here or there, but we'll talk about that.
And Us isn't that how she initially broke the barrier into the other world, was through that fun house with the mirrors?
We'll get there.
Okay.
Slow down, big boy.
Okay.
All right. All right.
Yep.
So one of the other connections I loved is this is connection into more than just one movie. I think you can look in a lot of black and urban films, especially when they are either directed by a really cultural director or the subject matter is cultural. If you notice, there's one particular scene, you'll show it up here, where it's a still image of him, and what you see is black guy, red hat, green camera strap. To me, they went out their way to make that camera strap green. When he first shows up to Cabrini Green, he's there, and I'm just like, you know what? I see what they're going for. But then all throughout the movie, I saw it again. There were attempts made in her apartment and other places to really show black, red, and green, and the significance of those colors is, of course, Africa. So it's always just a cultural thing for them to still put into the film, and I really thought that was neat.
Well, with the camera, did you notice the connection to the original film? How she was the what was her name? Helen Lyle.
Okay.
How she was taking pictures of the projects the same way he was. Some of the shots were almost the same.
Even I didn't get that. Look at you doing a little research and doing my portion of the show. All right, and and also you just brought it up. Jordan Peele strikes again. I definitely have it right there. The us mirror, Candyman mirror, seeing the evil versions of ourselves on the other side. So it's kind of like you say it into the mirror there, mirror here, and it's like. It's to me, and again, I want to harpen back into where they said the Candyman was hiding in the walls, this, that, and the other, and it kind of reminded me of when in Us, we're seeing all these experiments that went on. Some of these people are still down there, but we'll get into things like that. It's just the whole genre.
Yeah,
what
there
it
could
is.
be a big connection between this same universe.
Hey, let's all connect. Go ahead.
I don't think I've tried to put Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou in our list of movies every season. So I don't think you know what I'm referring to yet, but you will when I put it in the episode. Anthony McCoy is the lost crew member from Team Zissou, mainly because the hat, the way he wears the hat, the color scheme of it. He has the light blue shirt, the red cap. He just looks like he's straight out of Zissou. Okay. And then Jurassic Park. My connection to Jurassic Park is when Candyman makes his first kill. Jerica, Clive is trying to get his dick back in his pants, and he literally says to himself,
"Must go faster. Must go faster. Must go faster."
And then the last connection is to the creator of the original Candyman, horror icon, Mr. Clive Barker. The first male character to die, again, the Must Go Faster guy, Clive. The guy that created the original Candyman, Clive Barker, and then the first person to die in the new Candyman, his name is Clive. I don't think that's coincidence. Did I read? All right.
Yep.
Let's move on to. We usually do 10 facts, but because this is Candyman, let's do 5 facts. Starting with number 5, a sequel of First. Candyman 2021 may be a sequel, but it comes with a lot of firsts. It is the first Candyman film to feature a black protagonist. It's the first Candyman film to be made without the involvement of Clive Barker, although Barker is directly involved with the upcoming reboot of another franchise that he launched, Hellraiser Returns, in 2022. And speaking of Clive Barker, who is an openly gay man, this Candyman is the first in the series to feature openly gay characters. It's also the first Candyman film to be shot digitally, with all the previous entries being recorded on 35mm.
Number 4, Inconsolable Baby. Candyman 2021 reuses the same Foley sound of the crying baby from the original 1992 film. This baby has been crying for 29 years. Somebody called DCF.
Number 3, Peel Away. Jordan Peele was originally attached to direct Candyman early on in the production, but eventually moved into solely producing the film, as well as co-writing. DaCosta was hired as the director and later became the first black female director to have a movie open at first place in the box office, beating out Ryan Reynolds' Free Guy, which should be an achievement in itself. If you can beat Ryan Reynolds in the box office, no matter who you are, that's a
I like that. Casting possibilities. One of the great talented actors and young actors out of our time, Mr. Lakeith Stanfield, was considered for the role of Anthony McCoy, but he turned it down to star in Judas and the Black Messiah. He did an excellent job in that, by the way. Tony Todd and Vanessa Williams were the only cast members to return from the original trilogy. Virginia Madsen returns in the form of a small voice role to reprise her role as Helen Lyle. Early concept of the script that involved her having a larger role were shelved. Lastly, this was Tony Todd's 4th time playing Candyman.
That we know of.
Yes, really.
We don't know what he's doing on without the cameras rolling.
You're a sucker, man. So much candy. Tell everyone. No spoilers. Digital de-aging technology was utilized for his appearance in the latest installment. I know what he was up to. He was fucking around trying to take over the country with in The Rock. With Sean, remember The Rock? He was in The Rock.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, don't be scared. I'm gonna be scared.
Lastly, number 1, B movie. According to director DaCosta, the crew actually encountered an actual bee infestation during filming. There you go. Let's talk during that movie. Started off with some theories. I have Mirrors, Us, that connection. You already brought that up in connections. I don't really have a theory about the movie. It's pretty obvious and on the nose as far as what the theory is.
Is it? Okay, so you tell me what happened then.
What happened?
Yeah, I know. I know you have your stuff written down, but I want you to tell me what you think happened.
Well, I thought it was interesting at first when what's her name's Tiana Paris's brother Troy Cartwright, when he's the first person to bring up Candyman, and he kind of he catches us up on everything that happened in the first movie essentially. Correct. But what was interesting about that was a lot of the details had changed, like Helen Lyle being the murderer and things like that, and that in itself was a callback to that professor scene in the original Candyman, where he's talking about like the campfire stories that we tell and how things change over time, like the alligators in the sewers, and how people from all over different places of the country had the same story with little details changed. And he was like, that's how myths work. And they were actually talking about Candyman. It was like, a metaphor for Candyman himself. That like in the original, Candyman was just like a bad guy, and he was a boogeyman. But in this one, it's just like stories do. They change and evolve over time as people share them. Little details change, but it keeps the myth alive. There's the whole racial side of it, and what the hell is it called? Why is that fucking word escaping me right now? Gentrification.
There you go.
That's like the central theme. It was, and it's funny because people like claim that this movie is too woke because it like focuses on social topics and gentrification and racism and all that. But the first one did it not as much, but it was still there as a theme.
He was going around killing white women throughout the film.
Yeah, I mean
the first. I'm talking the original. Yes.
So it's all about. I mean, it's just about the stories we tell evolving, and of course, Candyman is he's like a vigilante boogeyman that represents. He represents pain and suffering of Black people as a whole. And the more that things happen, the more it feeds into his story. And I saw the movie as like a passing of the torch to explain how like the legacy carries on from one to another. I got more notes in the discussion about what the actual movie is about to me. What is it about to you?
To speak on this one alone, I would say this: as far as I can see why some people felt it was too woke, as you would say, and they felt like it was forced upon you or forced down your throat, certain issues, things of that nature. But I don't necessarily agree with that. For me, it was a telling of a story that most people really don't know about. It only art can only imitate its environment. It shows you what's really going on. So for me, I think they did a wonderful job opening up the film, especially with the music. It got you right into it. A little the Candyman guys, like so nice. But yeah, somebody's gonna get fucked up. When we see Coleman Domingo, Burke, who's played by Coleman Domingo, when we see him, most people don't understand that's him at the beginning of the film. That's him that walks in, and then when he walks by and the cops there, first off, lazy ass cops just holding a little thing there, whatever, the little picture there, like, hey, it could be anybody, whatever. They're not doing their job. So he goes in there and he has a real life experience with Sherman. And again, the reason why Sherman is there, because like I say, the film sets the tone for you right in and there. Yet another black man or another minority being accused of something that they did do. Just because he was a black dude with a hook in his hand, some other kid got found with a razor blade and some candy. All they did was say, "This some weird shit. What's some weird shit we done seen lately? Weird motherfucker. It had to be him." Like, how is he? It's even more difficult for him to put the razor blade in the candy because he has a hook. Come on, people. Like, so it's just the dumbest bullshit police work I've ever seen in my fucking life. And so he sees that real life. So not only does he see a month, I'm gonna keep it for real. The movie kept around keeping. Not only does he see a nigga coming out the wall, that fucked me up right there. Just seeing that's more scarier than seeing almost a monster. Like I know monsters.
What was he doing in the wall?
They said it. He when they started looking for him, he was hiding in the wall so they couldn't find him.
Why did he have to come out so creepy? Like
that was some weird. I'm pretty sure Sherman was probably a pedophile too. That's probably the story we didn't see, because there was some weird shit going on. But anyway,
like, say something.
He did. No, he couldn't talk.
Oh, he couldn't talk.
No,
I missed that part.
No, I mean, he had work. Motherfucking the police looking for him. He ain't saying shit.
If the police are looking for him, stay the fuck in the wall. Don't come out and try to give some kid candy.
You want some candy? But anyway, as that happens, so I'm saying, so as you see, you brought up gentrification, so he grows up through that, and then fast forwarding through the film, of course, we see to where, yet again, I don't know if you know it again, it's Coleman Domingo's character, Burke, as well, when that's his sister that gets killed. When she summons Candyman. When you see him, when you see the little teenage black boy, that's him again. So he's seeing weird ass Sherman. He saw Sherman get killed, and he knew Sherman wasn't the dude. So you got police brutality and a creepy motherfucker coming out the wall. Your life is finna be fucked up regardless at that age. Then you triple on the fact of you see your sister summon Candyman, and then you look through there and he saw him. So that's why he was like, and then finally a witness this time. It was no way he was ever going to be normal. Mm-hmm. And so to me, the theme of this was, I mean, I really didn't like the bullshit gentrification angle not that they wrote into it, but I didn't like his character being that for the reason. Like, dude, there's so many things you can do for this place not to be gentrified. Your great fucking plan was, and in fairness, you know what? There was a little bit of that's where the genius came in the writing, because they can display. Because most people would ask, why the fuck would this guy care about his neighborhood being gentrified, this, that, and the other, after everything he's seen?
Oh, speaking of everything he's seen, I thought it was really awesome that he works in a laundromat. Mm. Everything in a laundromat is cycles. Mm. Going around and around and around on different cycles. And that's that's like Burke's whole mantra is like, we've got to keep this cycle going.
Yeah. Right. So at this point, notice I've mentioned I'm in the movie now. I'm talking about the movie.
Before you get deeper into the movie, I want to make sure we're on the same page as far as establishing the fact that Candyman is in this universe, he's a real life manifestation of trauma, pain,
correct,
injustice,
correct.
He is a myth that gets told, but a real life manifestation comes out of that myth that can actually.
It's been born. Like, it's almost like some folklore of witchery. Like when so much pain is invoked upon someone or some culture, certain things. Because remember, it did, like you said, cycles. It didn't just start happening with Burke's character. He told you about people in the past that it happened to the original guy who was an artist going around doing stuff for people, and then one day he had sex with the white woman. They fell in love, and then that's what it really. So this is a story born from race. This is basically some clever black writer named Clive, as a young black gay, openly. I don't know if he's openly gay back then, but he's a writer that took a chance. Said, you know what? How can I find a way for me to write a story about some person that's going to come out and just start killing white people, and then for them to really but he can't just write that type of story. It had to be done this way. So I think he took a hell of a chance with what he did with the original story, but I love what they did with this version of it. So to sum it up, no, I'm not sum it up, and we'll get to the points, but notice I've been speaking about 5 minutes for the film. I have not mentioned Anthony yet. Mm-hmm. Well, we'll get there. So in all, I believe this film did a great job. If I had not seen the original Candyman, I really looked at it. I rewatched it again, and I love the chances they took. I love that they were so brazenly honest with this film, because as they said, this is what would happen if Candyman was here now during this time and what's going on. But we'll get into that.
Yeah. This was the first movie to set up the concept that Candyman is more than one entity, right? Like up until now, it's always been Tony Todd, right?
Yeah, it's always no. They've had other characters. No, it's always been Tony Todd. But my point is that.
But this is the first one that kind of establishes the idea that he's everybody. That like if everybody fuels him.
Oh yeah, he doesn't feel like a villain in this one.
Yeah. Oh no. Yeah. We kind of touched on that last night. When I was watching it, it was like, this is scary for white people.
Yeah, there you go.
This is like the superhero film for black people,
right? Because here's the thing: even if we're going to get into it, and then I'll end it by saying this: go back and look at it. When he killed those other people, yeah, he killed them. It was a special joy he took in that ending scene. It was just like yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, he took even when he killed the white dude at the beginning of the art, come around the art studio, just. When he killed the other people, it's quick. I thought you, what the fuck you called me? I was asleep, bitch. Nah. But anyway, we'll get to it, man. But yeah, we'll get to it. So,
all right, we're kind of already in discussion. There's the theories are just kind of there with the discussion, but for the sake of title, discussion. The first thing that I noticed right off the bat, and this is obvious, but it was such a cool touch, just doing a horizontal flip on the opening company credits, as if you're looking at it from a mirror's perspective. I thought that was really, really cool.
I like that as well. Of course, one of the things me and you discussed, and again, just if we're talking about the film in general, of course, this was done by Monkey Paw Productions, and I remember asking you what you thought that meant, and I don't know this to be true, but for me, I know that since we're speaking, I find it relevant since we're doing the film Candyman, which is definitely racism and systemic racism is in this, is inground into this whole franchise. So I thought it beautifully ironic that Monkey Paw Productions, to me, I believe Jordan Peele has been called a nigga before, so I believe he's also been called a monkey, and he was probably like, you know what, they always put me in these funny ass roles, they never want to hear my ideas about being an actor, about doing this, so they think I'm a monkey. Let me show them what this monkey's paw can do, and I'm gonna write some shit that's beautiful as fuck, and that's what he's been doing. He's been killing it. And also, if you also notice the tea, like I say, he puts his little thing in the teacup. That's like everybody in the tea. Everybody, the monkey stirring the tea. I'm the topic of conversation now, bitches. Right.
Yeah. I want to say I love what else has Yahya Abdul-Mateen been in? Because I feel like I've seen him before in something. I thought you knew.
You see me over here trying. I was trying to go to, but that's all right. Yeah.
Anyway, he was fantastic in this movie, and I love his character and the complexity of his character.
I feel like he was in Lovecraft Country too. I feel like everybody's in Lovecraft Country.
The deterioration of his character and watching that, how he portrayed that, right from the very beginning, I identified with Anthony McCoy, the struggling artist side of him. I thought they played that really well. You could tell he has a complex about the fact that he's chasing his dream while his significant other is working and, making a living.
Where'd you find these at? In the studio where I painted them, bitch.
Your mom said to call her. She, I must be taking too good care of you or something like that. You won't call her anymore because so he went from getting money from his mom to he's
the true artist's dream.
So I identify with that. And then when he gets really excited about the Candyman project and he starts working on it, you can see it in his face. She gets home from work. She's obviously exhausted. He's like,
I am seeing this clearer than I've seen anything else in my life.
I feel really connected to this. I've never been this clear before.
And I go through that with Angelo. I'll be working on something. I'll finish it up during the day. I know she's exhausted when she comes home. Just watch this. I can't. I can't.
And what does her face normally look like? Like old girls in the movie?
We're gonna do that.
I believe in you, baby.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then just going on that same struggling artist note, when the murders happen at the gallery,
Say my name.
And he's watching it on the news. He just like can't stop smiling because they said his name, they mentioned his work, and
It's pretty cool, right?
Obviously, it's awful.
He couldn't even get the sentence out. He was like, obviously, it's
and that leads in that's in that same theme of say his name. That was like the first him becoming Candyman, getting off on his name being said.
And not that reminds me of two people. Number one, Beyonce. This is my first time we get to say Beyonce. Now that we're a monetized station, I'm going to take the chance to say that. I know you were like, why the fuck are you bringing up Beyonce? Say my name, say my name.
Oh yeah, I think they used that in an early trailer or teaser. They slowed it down, kind of like they did 5 on it for Us.
And there's one other person that really gets off on saying their own name.
He gets off by screaming his own name.
Curl.
The last note I have about Anthony being the starving artist struggling artist, I thought it was interesting how Brianna, his girlfriend, how her dad was also, they're pretty much the same person. Like that scene where she walks in and he turns around and her dad, and he's sitting in the windowsill. He's like,
Bet you didn't know your daddy could fly, did you?
Yeah, they were very mysterious about that, because they left that open to interpretation. I didn't know if he was on that shit. I didn't know if he could have been on drugs. Like
I took it as just somebody. I looked at it through the lens of they're trying to make a parallel between her dad and Anthony goes through this mental breakdown. He's an artist that can't find his footing. I feel like that was the same. That was just so crazy. Like I couldn't imagine I could imagine jumping out of a window, but definitely not turning around and looking at my daughter and like making her watch.
And that's the thing about it. He lied to her. You just fell. If you're gonna do it, jump, motherfucker. Like that's a weak ass. Okay, that's a story for another day. Anyway, so yeah. Also, one of the things I want to talk about, like, is you brought it up, the opening visual, how they mirrored the sky in the beginning. I love that. Like they were showing the city. You would have thought there was never a murder in Chicago. I mean, it's just really how they really went through it. I loved it. Like I say, it was mirroring itself. How you talked about what we did with the intro and just doing that. They're visually setting your mind up for what's getting ready to happen.
Yeah, and that opening shot was kind of like a mirror reflection of the original movie's opening shot. Because the first movie is looking down on Chicago. The second one's looking up from the ground. Prior to Anthony becoming Candyman, his full name, Anthony McCoy, is spoken 5 times. The 5th time leads to that moment.
A little 1326 action going on there. All right, I see what's going on. All right, Peter.
Yeah, I mean, there's obviously the commentary on racism and racial injustice. But I also picked up on a really cool story with just the struggle of artists in general. I thought that, like, again, with Anthony's character, I thought that was really well played.
Well, now, one of the points you just brought up about the struggling artist, which really got me, was when that bitch at the motherfucking art gallery is looking at his work and she's trying to tell him about the struggle and he was looking at her like, what the nah, bitch, you don't get to say that. Mm-hmm. And you don't get to say that. And I'm speaking for Anthony right now. Me, I love women. But Anthony, the way she's looking all at his stuff or whatever, I'm trying to tell him, like, he looks at her, and then the beautiful part about writing, like, if you don't write with a purpose, stop. Because when they wrote that, I don't even know if this scene or that scene was first, but I knew they had to make her look really bad, because in the end, the payback was, he was like, when he goes to her apartment later, he was like, and this is when you really see him start to turn for the first time. She said something like, she's like, oh, she starts believing her. He's like, I don't know why you believe in me now. I'm back to my good impersonation. Hold on. I don't know why you believe in me now. She's like, oh, so he was like, maybe you should try it. He tells her, basically says, go kill yourself, bitch. Yeah. That's exactly what he's saying. He knows by now at this point in the movie what's going to happen if the name is said. Because immediately after that, he goes home, and one of I just love seeing when writing sticks true to the form. He goes home first, she's kind of there, he's tripping a little bit. When he breaks that mirror, she's like, hold up, nigga.
Say the fuck right there.
Brianna.
Don't follow me.
The tone changes. Stay the
fuck away from me. Like, they didn't tell her, like, hey, he's gonna break a mirror. Like, she had no idea what was finna happen. She's like, hold up. I'm like, shit. Talk about breaking the fourth wall. And so I really love that they kept it. And because you know why? If you didn't grow up in a neighborhood like mine or a household like mine, you don't know how we talk. We have said for a billion years, oh my goodness, the white lady falls. Oh, this happened, that happened. We were like, if we were there, this would happen. And they did the same thing with us when the brother and the sister went up the stairs and they went to town on they ass.
Yeah. I was weirded out watching the whole thing, like how nonchalant he was about this fucking thing crawling. Like, oh, I got a little scab here. Like, you have your arm is turning into a honeycomb. Ooh,
so he didn't go to the hospital like day 7
until it was like up his neck and shit.
And then he's like, "Do you recognize me, Mom?" Fuck no. Who are you?
You didn't even have to pull the collar down. We could see it already.
Jeez Louise, man. Now what are
she said? Nope.
Well, notice one of the things, I don't know if you caught this, you probably did. William Birch at the beginning. We'll get to him. Anthony asked him, "You need a hand?" When he had the stuff on the ground, he said, "You need a hand?" And technically he did. He was like, "Yeah, motherfucker, yours. I'm gonna be sawing it off in about an hour and a half."
Oh, yeah,
you don't remember the beginning?
I don't remember that line, but that's
I
good.
thought it was like, "You need a hand." I was still on my the 10 with the leg shit. I'm looking for any prosthetic limbs.
Yeah, I got so many problems with Coleman Domingo's
we'll talk to him in a minute.
work. We will get into it, but just to preface it, there are problems with his performance and his character, how it's Mr. Exposition over here.
Hold on, we'll get there. Now, Nathan Stewart, Jared's character, really had me going. He set the tone for this fucking film here. And clearly, he's an openly gay character, has nothing to do with it. I just like that he was himself. The first time I knew, I'm like, oh, he's going to be a fun character throughout the movie. He said something about playing a game, and his sister was like, "Black people don't need to be some of this shit." I was like, yeah, you get them,
When
sister.
they walk back into the apartment, he's like,
"Anthony, it is Troy.
We are here to pick up her things, and then we are leaving
with her things." Where he come out, you almost want to say come out wherever you are. The hardest, not prepared to do anything brother ever in life. Like that was crazy. You brought up the line earlier, and I didn't think of the Jurassic Park reference, but to me it was just like, what the fuck was this guy? Gotta move faster. He's motivating himself. He's saying it, and you know that to be true. Sometimes people, and that was another good part of the writing. Sometimes when you're frozen, you have to say stuff to get you going. It's almost like Kill Bill. Just wiggle your toe.
All right, let's get into casting call.
Yeah.
I got 2 casting calls.
Yeah.
I replaced Anthony McCoy's character, and I did Candyman, of course.
Okay, let's go. You go.
Anthony McCoy, barely anybody will know who this person is, but Amafika El Amin, I thought could have. I just saw him the whole time, and his mannerisms, the performance, the very, very dramatic expressions and stuff like that. I thought Amafika could have done it, but if we are sticking to Hollywood actors, I thought John David Washington could have pulled that off.
I could see John David doing that. I could definitely see John David doing that. Look, I put some thought into who I want to play Anthony McCoy's character that really could pull it off, and I don't know. I didn't know Lakeith Stanfield, so I don't want that's a cop out. I didn't know he was offered the role or was going to have it, but he would have
done really well.
He would have.
It's like the artistic.
I want to say he's not tall enough, but I really want to see. This is a blast from the past for some people. I want to see what Lorenz Tate would have did with it.
Who the hell? Who is that?
Why Do Fools Fall in Love, Menace to Society.
Okay.
Dead Presidents.
Well, I'll know that later this season.
All right, and you'll go ahead for Candyman.
All right, this would be creepy as fuck. This would catapult Candyman into one of the scariest films ever made. Forrest Whitaker.
What did I tell you about this, man? So let me get straight. He got a hook in the eye.
He doesn't even need the hook anymore.
Listen, you're not going to keep talking about the King of Scotland and Bumpy Johnson like this. I refuse to let you keep doing this. This is like season 3.
Tell everyone.
Jesus Christ. Exactly why I bought my hook. I knew I was going to have to do.
It was real fun being in that YouTube partner program.
Oh my gosh, man. What the hell is going on? Anyway, let me bring some dignity back to this show. Keep saying dignity now. For me, if someone, this would be creepy. Yeah, now I'm thinking about it would be. I don't know. Maybe you, and I think you laugh at him. I don't know. I know this sounds weird, but I've never. You know what? I want to see Samuel L. Jackson do it. I was going to say Morgan Freeman, but I just think you laugh at. I just think you laugh at him.
I don't know.
No, my bad. No, I want to see Joe Clark be Candyman. Now that's a Candyman.
Yeah,
but with the same attitude though. I told you to go to bed. Now you're here. Now I gotta cut this shit up. Now I gotta get the blood. Who gotta get the blood? You gotta get the blood. Tell his ass I will be out. I can see it kind of happening.
The writing's on the walls.
Literally. Say, you know what he's called me in the parking lot? Candyman, Candyman, Candyman. But guess what? He's saying it outside. Oh God!
Look at yourself.
What are you doing, mister? I was picking up a piece of paper. Was it candy wrapper?
Would be good. Yeah, Morgan Freeman over Sam Jackson.
Yeah, Morgan. Yeah. No. Joe Clark.
Yeah. Samuel L. Jackson.
Hey, boy. He just cussed him out from the wall. He wouldn't even come out.
Yeah. Say Candyman one more goddamn time.
And I will strike down with my claw. A mighty vengeance. Okay.
All right. 7 minutes in heaven. Favorite scenes.
Oh God.
I had a really hard time with the favorite scenes because I
didn't. I'm gonna say mine twice.
I've got one scene that was like noteworthy to me, but it's not to say that the movie wasn't great. Like there were so many good scenes, but the pacing was really cool. How they almost like mixed parts of scenes together. Like you were getting two scenes at once sometimes, and that made it difficult to like. It felt like one streamlined thing, so it was difficult to like say this was my favorite scene or that was my favorite scene. But I liked the first death scene with Jerica and Clive. I thought it was because that's when you were getting the introduction of how this was going to play out, how the murders were going to play out, the way he was restricted to the reflections and you're watching everything through the mirrors. It was really cool in the bathroom scene too, where you see everything from that little compact and you're really getting the Foley and the audio from the scene more so, and what your imagination does with that is way more than what seeing it firsthand could ever do. For being Nia DaCosta's second film, and it was just, I mean, it was expertly directed. The cinematography was awesome, and I was really happy to see like how graphic they were going with it. On the first kill, you got the slash here. It's a lot of blood, and like, okay, we're gonna have fun in this movie.
Very good. No, those were very good scenes, man. A very good scene, and I think you said it perfectly. How graphic they were unapologetically graphic. When there's no blood was spared, not one drop.
Yeah,
not one drop.
Yeah, let one person complain about how graphic it was. Meanwhile, like the whole country had to watch a black man be choked out with a knee to his neck for nearly 9 minutes. It would just be, the irony of that would be humorous isn't the right word, but it's something like that. Yes, very American.
Well, there we go. And with that being said, I had a couple of scenes here. It's funny, like I feel like it's deja vu, like I said it before or something like that. So to me, a lot of scenes stood out to me. At first, I didn't think I was going to have that many because you're so awe of it, and you really don't like comparing stuff, like the original Candyman to this one, but. One of the first scenes that really stood out to me, and again, it's from the beginning. Like I say, they truly do set the tone from the beginning. When we first meet young Burke at the beginning as a boy, and he's walking around. Like I say, to me, it really, I might as well have been a child again watching Candyman from that very moment right there. It really brought me back into the nostalgia of that. But one of the main scenes that really stood out to me, just from the mindset they had already put me in, is when the original art director that dies at the beginning. All he did was get embarrassed a little bit about what happened at that museum. He was already like, I brought her in, and you know what? She's done. She like he made her or something like that. You know what I'm saying? He shows you the asshole that he truly is, but you weren't saying shit at the party. So to me, that was just like the mindset. Because then I feel like a lot of people feel that way. Oh, this is my little this is my little black pet here. Look what I did. Like, you know, they're gonna rise this to the side. And even how he was talking, he's literally later on talking to Anthony about, you know, this is the Anthony I saw back then. Where's the new? I want to see this. I want to see the struggle. I want to feel the oppression. Man, fuck you. And so, with that being said, I'm like, okay, I see what's going on. So for me, his death was so satisfying. And just when you think you couldn't even hate him any worse, motherfucker, he says, no, I don't want to play the game. Well, not at least till we have sex yet. He's like, on second thought, I have a necrophiliac thing. Go ahead and do it. You know what I'm saying? Tell him the base offer. I'm like, yeah, at least. So to me, his overall involvement in the scenes he was in was really, it stood out to me.
Did you notice how, like, his transformation seemed to be progressed by any time somebody else summoned Candyman?
You know what? I didn't think about that, but you are right.
Yeah, like every time there was an instance like that, it pushed him further down the rabbit hole of becoming closer to.
And you heard what he told him at the end. Shit, Candyman ain't been working in years. Tell everyone.
I would have paid anything for him to. The transformation is complete.
The transformation is complete. I am now someone else.
Anthony McCoy is not here.
Oh, fuck no. We're still in scenes here. But yeah, no, those for me, those are my scenes. That, like I said, anything else that those are my scenes. Oh, you know what? No, I take that back. My favorite, again, last favorite scene for me. I told you, the joy that Todd took in killing those cops at the end was fucking beautiful. He even lets the one guy get away so he can stretch his legs a little bit. He was like, I haven't showed them my floating trick yet.
Yeah, so, like fucking Dr. Manhattan, who just, what's funny,
the bees are floating him. He's not flying, the bees, yeah.
Well, it's badass looking.
It was very badass.
As fuck, because he looks almost like he's not in control. It looks like all the entities together are kind of like he's like autonomously being pulled where he needs to go.
Mm-hmm.
But what's funny to me about it, it's tickling because it's like, what's the point of this little thing that you're doing? You could walk faster than you're levitating from one
Who gives a fuck? We're
another.
Black, we're cool. We do the sweet shit.
And that is actually 100% accurate because it's all about
style.
It's all about making sure that the story gets like you want to go and tell this story.
Like, I saw this motherfucker floating with bees.
Yeah. A bee face, and he was 3 inches.
And then 10 years later, bro, the horn came out his ass. He became a bee. He transformed into a human-sized bee.
Yeah.
But my boy, rest in peace, John Witherspoon in Vampire in Brooklyn. I don't know what the fuck I saw. Wolf to the 45th power. Yeah, that was my favorite scene, man. And again, yeah, like, oh God, that was good, man. Like, it was like, and this is for supremacy, and this is like, he was just in that bitch like Zorro in that bitch.
Yeah, that was a badass part of a terrible scene, and I'll get into that later. But for now,
easy boy.
Favorite lines.
All right.
Favorite boat.
All right, one of my favorite ones. This happens at the very beginning of the movie. It's one of those moments of the movie when Anthony asks Mr. Birch, he's like, hey, because Birch puts the bag down. First off, let's bring up the fact that he showed the fuck up out of nowhere. We'll get there later, but he then asks,
where is he coming from? Where is he? Well, we know where he is going.
The mental hospital. He says,
you need a hand?
And so, like I just told you, this motherfucker just volunteered for the experiment. So now when the police come, he be like, whoa.
Yeah.
That's why he called the police. Like, no, he asked me, did I look, I only took what he, yeah, so that's one of mine, yeah.
All of my lines are in the opening art show scene.
So we can call this night at the museum.
Yes. I feel like Anthony in this scene, most of the time going out somewhere, you're like, not only like everybody has a feeling of being a fish out of water, but most people can acclimate themselves and kind of put on like a different mask to fit in wherever they're at. And I just always find myself like clearly the outcast, clearly not meant for whatever is happening here. And like when you have all these pretentious assholes at the art show, and you know how pretentious assholes can like insult you to your face with a smile and make it sound like a compliment, but it's just like this underhanded jab. And they're in a group of people. So he's like, you know, where'd you find the paintings at the first store in the desert? And he goes,
that's not how he said it. Where'd you find these? Like, what?
Where'd you find them?
He asked him twice.
Yeah. But he goes, I found them in a studio where I painted them, you goofy ass fuck. And then he turns, looks at Clive, and says,
You be so much stocking up on morning after pills to accommodate your summer intern program?
this, as he's like, and then Anthony out. Like, and I've been in this situation so many times where everybody is playing this little game, like, oh, we're all being cute, we're just kidding, but everybody's being an asshole.
Everybody's being mean.
Finally, you had too much, and you say exactly, like, you keep it real. You're keeping it real.
To quote my boy Arthur Fleck, why are people so mean?
But then everybody looks at you like,
oh, look at this asshole.
Yeah, why was it such an outburst?
Oh, okay.
Like, I'm sorry.
That shit me. But again, I don't know what the fuck was in that one beer.
This where he says when he's walking out, Clive goes, "That's not spontaneous. You had that one in the bank." He goes, "Yeah, I did, bitch.
Yeah, I did, bitch."
And then Clive goes,
"It's fine. I can take being called a bitch."
But then if you notice, Jericho calls him a bitch like 5 minutes later on that night. It's just quiet, bitch.
He likes it. Fucking likes it. There's another line in the movie that says, "They love what we make, but not us." And what was beautiful about that line was it harpened back to the beginning of the film, or in the part of the film where he says the artists that used to go around painting people, they love what we did, but not who we were.
Yeah.
So that was a very good writing in that. I'll see y'all out there. Writers, invite me to the next writing session. I'll bet it for you. And the best line by far of the entire film, probably any film I've seen in the last year or two, is when his sister Tiana comes over to Troy's house, and she was like, Anthony's going crazy. He think he's summoned Candyman.
Candyman ain't real, nigga.
Like, I was like, yes, finally. Yes, because that's exactly what the fuck would have happened if she would have come into any other black person's house in America, in Guam. It don't matter. That's exactly how the shit would. And you know what? He's not saying that to call her stupid. He's trying to convince himself also that he was really talking to himself. Can't a real ain't man, the real nigga. Yeah. So I just, is he? Oh shit, I already said it once. Can't say it no more. Troy about to go. You know what I'm saying? Now, that was to me, that was, man, hey, bro, you killed that one. Yeah. Fuck yeah. Those are the lines, man.
That was Nathan Stewart Jarrett, right?
Yep.
Troy Cartwright.
Yep, you got it. Troy.
All right, those were our favorite lines. Those were our favorite scenes. Put in the comments what your favorite lines in Candyman were, what your favorite scenes were. We're going to talk about who brought the best performance to the film. Scene stealers.
You just saw how you looked at her. Who? Candyman ain't real, nigga. Almost like I said, they just repo. I'm about to repo my car, nigga. It's just like it's after 6 o'clock. Laugh, man. Oh, you got 7 minutes. Stop laughing. Straight up. All right, we're going into scene stealers, guys. This is where we give the award to the artist who we feel really brought something to the film. And a lot of times it's not just going to be the leads or anything like that. You can have a very small role, but it can be integral, and it can really change the aspect of the whole mood of the film. Like you did more with less. So we try to do the best that we can here. Of course, we do have honorable mentions as well. And I want to go ahead and start with Yahya Abdul-Mateen II. What he did with the character, to me, I saw it. He had a lot of emotion in the play, but as the movie went on, he faded for me. Not him as an actor, it's just his role faded. To me, the story was the lure was coming towards it, and so I don't believe he was afforded the opportunity to climax with the story. By the time he got his arm, he was barely fucking speaking at the end of the movie. Like, he's getting cut. He's not even saying "oh" nothing. He's getting his arm cut off. She's like, baby, he can't speak. He falling all on the ground. And I'm not knocking him. That's how it was written. His character was not meant. Now, if you stop this movie 30, 45 minutes in, he's top 2 or 3. He right there going 4, because I will give him credit. He was forced to embody so many things, and he had to be that guy in every scene. And I did believe he was an artist. He made me feel, they just didn't give him a paintbrush and like, go do you. Everything I saw in those apartments, I believed he could have painted. Now, and again, and I guess the only reason why I couldn't give him the scene stealer, because he wasn't upset enough about that goddamn honeycomb growing on his fucking arm. Like, he should have been at some point more upset about that. Like, first off, they hit us with the whole Spider-Man, radioactive Spider-Man. They never really truly explain that. Did he get past the B virus? We'll talk about that later. We'll talk about that. So yeah, that's my honorable mention. You have any honorable mentions?
Yeah, my honorable mention is Tony Todd. When you talk about doing a lot with a little, he has maybe 15 seconds of screen time.
Yeah,
and what
but
he
you feel
manages to do.
Wait a minute, 15 seconds of screen time and 10 of it is covered by bees.
Yeah, but then hearing that voice again, from it brought you right back to the original. I remember it's like,
let's see if I can get him. See, now you put me on the spot. Tell everyone.
He speaks so deeply that it sounds like it's happening inside your head.
Oh,
like
yeah.
his voice is so deep, it sounds like your own internal dialogue.
Almost like he recorded it here with these nice ass mics.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was I gotta, I didn't want to, of course, the only reason why I didn't say he was an honorable mention, because again, I didn't want to spoil it, because this film is still pretty new, but clearly if you're watching us, hey.
Before we get into who our actual scene stealer was, we gotta bring the board up and
all right,
talk about who the hell the earlier scene stealers were. All right, episode 1 we covered Joker, and that put Joaquin Phoenix on the board.
All right.
And then we did Invention of Lying for episode 2, and that got Jennifer Garner up there nice and sweet.
Jeezy.
And then we did Howard the Duck and
Chip Zien.
Yep.
Chippy Chip.
I'm still...
don't do it. All right, and that brings us to this episode for Candyman. So, without any further ado, my scene stealer was Miss Teyonah Parris. I really love this, and it seems to be a running theme with Monkey Paw, Jordan Peele. They take their time to really empower the woman, not just black women, women in general in their films, even with the things that they do. I'm looking at they show intelligence, they show sass, they show culture, they show that these women aren't just like, oh, it's black this, black that. These are business women. They can be themselves. They can go in any environment and still be heroine. And I love it. Like, it's the second time, and plus, I'm sorry, I love this the second time I done seen a strong black woman stab the fuck out of somebody. Dude, she like serially fucked that dude up with that fucking pitch. Birch, that was for you. She did that for you. I hate your fucking overacting. Hate your fucking overacting. Hate your fucking overacting. Yeah. But yeah, seriously, all jokes aside, she was beautiful from start to finish. You know what my criteria usually is? How much time do you have to spend with the lead? She was there. You almost can argue she was the lead, but she spent a lot of time with him. She spent time with her brother. She spent time at the art gallery. She's at the dinner. She's by herself. She carried herself throughout this film. She was beautiful, elegant, and like I said, at the one moment you didn't think she couldn't keep that shit hood with you, when he broke that fucking mirror, which was another suspicion. So 2 things happened at once. That motherfucker went to tripping, and he broke a mirror. She's like, hold the fuck up, don't move. And I loved her for that. So that's when she won my heart for it.
Yeah. Do you know if she's been in anything else that she's been in?
Not that comes to mind right away, no.
I was
and if she has not been in anything else, this is even better job was done for what she did. I didn't see her be weak at it. Even when she was weak, her weak moment was like, oh my God, my day's bad. Just like most strong black women I know, when they have a bad day, hey, let me just... Not even strong black women. People do that in general. My whole point was they didn't take somebody in the background normally would have been like, oh no, don't have her smoking. No woman wouldn't do that. Man, bitches roll up too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she looked natural.
She's not a bitch.
I give mine to Yahya Abdul-Mateen, second Anthony McCoy, because like I said from the beginning, I identify with that character, and I think the reason why I was able to identify with it is because he did such a great job of making that fleshing that character out. His nuances were there. Those little looks that he would give when he's stuck in those situations with the pretentious art people. He's one of those actors where he was able to say, like, you knew what he was going to say before he opened his mouth and said it. He did such a convincing job of wearing like his emotions on his face, and his expressions and they were really good. Like,
his beats were really, I will give you that.
Yeah.
Beat wise, because think about it. How many times the camera up in his face just like that? Because he's painting. Mm-hmm. So that shit was like right there in his face. I mean, you know what I mean, as far as being up on him and everything.
And you see him from like the first, like in the beginning of the movie. I mean, he's like, he's a sight to behold. What does that mean? He is he's built.
Be more specific. It's after 6. Let me hear it.
No,
man, with your genetics, man, you could be such a beast. There you go, Jordan. I got you.
But you see, like when he first comes out, I'm like, man, he's big. And they got a lot of shots where
what are you saying?
Like he works out, but then
where at?
And then towards the end of the movie, as the movie progresses, it feels like you could actually see him becoming weaker in front of your eyes. And like
he was mad his lines were cut towards the end. Yeah, we gotta get some room. Yeah, I'm sorry, but go ahead. Yes.
And I would love to, like, if this is like a passing of the torch type of thing and kind of setting up like a new trilogy, that's the way it feels like. There's nothing on IMDb or anything as far as anything being planned for Candyman sequels. But just the way it abruptly cut to the Candyman title at the end of the movie after it like sets up the passing of the torch from Tony Todd to Yaya.
Oh, is that what you think happened?
I think so.
Intriguing.
Yeah. I mean...
we'll get there.
Yeah, we will. But I think I would love to see a second Candyman just to see Yaya play that, like, go full werewolf.
Yeah.
Like, I would love to see him, because he's over the top in a way that it's not... He's over the top in a good way. Coleman Domingo's over the top in a bad way.
I knew you couldn't get out of there without saying it. Well, here's the thing. Somebody's going to have to werewolf us because we're, yet again, what are we doing here? How are we going to figure this thing out?
I think... So you're not budging.
No, because I just wish he would have been getting 45 minutes in. He had it.
But he was supposed to become less prominent. He was supposed to.
So his character was settled to not win him the award, not him. He did nothing wrong. This was out of his hand, man. I gave him the beats. I agree with you on that. He was. You were just a marvel of him. I know why you picked him. He was a sight to behold. He's big.
No, it goes from like his transformation is
like he's in thinner or something.
Yeah, and he did it without even like. It was. And he was able to play this like really strong character, but he had these vulnerabilities too that you could see.
You know what, man? This is what Martin Luther King would have wanted. Yes, I will budge. Because I'm not saying no. I was just saying if you would have given me so yes. You know what, Tiana, call me, baby. So hey, okay, yeah. Welcome to the board, Mr. Yahya Abdul Mateen the second, but the first one.
Tier, yeah.
Hey, see, there we go. It was meant to be.
Get to that.
Yeah. There we go.
Buzzing. Cast, crew, we are about to talk to Christiana Clark, who played Danielle Harrington in the film, as well as Cassie Kramer, who played the librarian, as well as other things that you'll never see. But she played the librarian. We have 2 great conversations coming up, so check that out now. All right. She is an actress, a writer, director, editor, producer, and composer, model, and more. She began pursuing acting during her college years at the University of Chicago, taking classes at various studios and working on short films. Through her work on both sides of the camera, she continues to be a student of the craft, graduating from the Conservatory of the Second City and recently studying at the Royal Academy of Dramatic Art in London. She plays the librarian in Nia DaCosta's recently released Candyman, the role that brings us here today. Thank you very much, Cassie, for joining us today.
Of course. Thank you so much for having me.
Now, you're credited as the librarian in this film, but we do our research here at TTFT, and of course, we are both children of the 80s, and we saw the original Candyman, and we know, now granted, there's another 3 letters I like to say, NDA, non-disclosure agreement, so don't say what you can't say, but I'm going to tell you what I researched. I researched that there was a little bit of mold being made, and maybe it was someone you were supposed to be that you weren't. Can you talk on that?
I mean, your girl is not trying to get sued.
So don't get sued, please.
I can't really, or I think they would prefer that I not say anything really. But I think there is information that is, Googleable that is may or may not be speculative. But I did, I really got.
I'll say what you're not going to say. That what we do know is there's a lot of times, as you mentioned before, the idea doesn't always meet it to what's going to actually be shown in the theaters. And there is a lot of actors and actresses out there who've done things that don't get shown that are great. And I want to tell you that what I didn't see, I think would have been great.
No, I think I just will say the way it turned out, I think is exactly how it was meant to. I think the plot is already complicated enough. You know what I mean? Like, I think if you would have added another element, it would have been probably too much for an audience. So
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Like No Country for Old Men. Go ahead.
No.
Yeah.
So did I, just not the ending.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Thank you.
The meaning of the film, I don't know if have you guys both seen Candyman?
We have both.
Okay, cool. Well, to me, the message from like what you take out of it is so much more important and bigger than people who are upset about, like, you know, not reprising original roles or whatever. Like, I think it's just so beautiful and so well done.
Yeah, it's one of the most effective social thrillers. I mean, I think the last great social thriller to come out that is on that level is like Get Out.
Correct. I 100% concur. I mean, and there's no. Here's the thing: you said it. I hate sequels, but this wasn't a sequel to me; it was a remake, and I really hate remakes. But if you're gonna do it, put the message in there. But you called me yesterday. And what did you tell me? Put the message in there, but not at expense of the artistry of the film. And I think that's exactly what happened.
At the expense of the story, and they did it. Yeah, it was a good. Joker did a good. That was a good.
I love Joker. I love Joker
too.
I also just want to give you props for finding the B in my first Instagram post and then tying that to John Hancock and then tying that to Jordan Peele. That was impressive. So.
I felt slightly, because everybody always talks about like don't be the weird guy that comment. Yeah, and when you actually said that, I was like, oh no, let me clarify what's happening here.
No, I knew. I was just doing funny.
With the mold, I noticed on your Instagram there's a few shots of you and J. Anthony Kozar, who did who worked with you on the molds for Candyman. Is there anything you can speak on as far as that goes? Like not the effects themselves, but just what it was like working with that team? Yeah,
I mean, that was one of the huge highlights for me working on that film. I got really close with Anthony and Anna Callie, who also works with him, and Claire Ramsey. She's from Ireland and she's adorable and has the cutest accent. She calls everything like a wee break, it's adorable.
Aye.
So she was often doing my makeup because Anthony and Anna often were focusing on Yaya, but. Yeah, he and I have become really close. We just went to dinner the other night. I recently worked on a film. His sister is a director, and I just worked on a Christmas movie with her. And he came to set. He actually has a cameo in the movie as like an FBI agent. He doesn't speak, but it was so cool. I love their whole family. I love him. His dad works at the studio with him. I've met his mom. I've met his grandma. I've met everybody, and they're all up.
And you guys, did you guys go see the movie together when it came out? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, we actually went. They had this Candyman experience downtown that we tried to go to, but it got rained out. So we all just stood around and went and got a drink. But yeah, we went to see. They had a Chicago screening at the Music Box, which is a really cool theater here. Monkey Paw hosted it, and so we all went to see it together. And it was he's such an awesome person, and he's booking everything in Chicago. I mean, if there are practical effects and special effects, he's doing it pretty much.
Earlier I asked you a question about if you could give if you can give advice to actresses out there and what they should expect. So now I want to talk about expectation versus reality, because here's the reality of it. Production took place, and if I'm not mistaken, between August and October around 2019, and then of course there were some pickup shots. How long were you on set for? And because here's the thing, I saw the film and I know how long you were in there. And when people say, oh, I want to be an actor, and you're on set all this time and you bring all your friends and family to this movie and you're there for less than 30 seconds, they're like, what the fuck? So could you talk to us about how long you were on set and the experience?
Well, in the capacity of the librarian, I was only on set for one day, and we shot that in the reshoots. For the other part that isn't in there, I was on set for I think 6 days, maybe. The makeup took 4 hours to apply, and then 4 to 5, I would say, and then 3 Anthony would disagree with me. We have different memories of how long it took, but usually 4 to 5 to apply in my memory, and then somewhere between 3 and 4 to take off. So
Wow.
I was there for a very long time, but I wasn't actually on set like a ton.
So was it a situation where, like, by the time they called you about the librarian, did they already know that the other things that you had shot weren't going to be a part of it? Like, you know, we weren't able to use this with the new direction we're taking, but we have this other part for you?
At the time, I don't know if they knew, because I found out because I emailed Nia, because I just had like a weird feeling and I didn't do ADR for that part. But yeah, when the way it was pitched to me was, hey, we loved you so much, we want to bring you back for this thing, this librarian thing. And at that time I was like, oh, so is this, I thought it was connected to my other part. So I was trying to put it all together and like try to make it really deep and like.
Oh yeah, I could imagine the theories. Yeah, that's really cool of them to make sure that you still got the screen time to some extent.
Oh my gosh, I cannot even tell you how grateful I am, because I mean, to get to work on that film in any capacity is such an honor, and then for them to make sure that they still included me on some level was just amazing.
Well, that speaks highly of you too. That, like, you know, that whole, you know, fool me once type of thing. You're not gonna, if you weren't a pleasure to work with, they could have found, you know, they could have, I mean, held auditions, had somebody else come in to do that part. So the fact that they wanted you to come back, yeah, that's really cool. What was Nia DaCosta like to work with?
I mean, you guys, if you have like 6 hours, I could get into this.
Oh my!
I cannot even tell you how obsessed I am with her. I have listened to every interview, every podcast, she hosted like the technical Oscars or whatever that award show was. I watched that because she was hosting it. Like, she is the most well-rounded, brilliant, funny, just amazing director that I have ever worked with. Like, she was so focused and so steadfast, you know, like I can't imagine the pressure of having that movie and then having 2 studios involved and, you know, Monkey Paw, Jordan Peele and all that stuff. And every time I got to talk to her, I was like, oh, such a good idea. Just brilliant. Like, and she's also, when she gives you direction, she's usually really funny. And she's also very collaborative and makes you feel safe enough. I thrive as an actor in environments where I feel like the energy is calm and I can explore and it's safe and it's not like, all right, we have 3 seconds before we lose the location. Do it. Like, and she let me try all kinds of different things. I almost daily have regrets about things I wish I would have improvised and like buttons that I would have done in the library scene, because I got the lines like the day before. So I didn't really know what was happening. But like, even on the day that we shot the library scene, it didn't really make sense in the script how I would not see Yaya, like why I would miss him or whatever. And I was like, I brought it up to her because I am now, you know, using my voice. And and I was like, hey, I just don't understand this part of it. What if I drop something, or what, you know, like, so that I don't see him for a second. He has the time to get away. And then Ian Cooper from Monkey Paw, who I also love, such an amazing person, was like, I was just about to say that. And then Nia was like, cool, let's try it. And so it was just it almost just felt like friends shooting a little scene. You know what I mean? Like, it was just.
I truly find that amazing. And the reason why I want to say that, because you actually answered the next question we're going to ask about shooting a library scene, but it actually segued into something I wanted to know. Traditionally, men, it's raining men rule Hollywood. They do everything. And now, and most people are like, most people would say you're not only just a female director. A female in Hollywood is already a minority, but you're dealing with an African-American female who's listening to you, who's working with people. Everybody's collaborating. What is it like truly, genuinely to see, hey, here is a female here. She will, at least as a woman, hear my voice and at least listen to me. It has to be different and show that Hollywood is not maybe Hollywood's changing, maybe the world's changing and say, hey, you're not going to treat me like an asshole on set. You're going to listen to my ideas and I'm an artist. How did that feel?
Well, it's definitely changing.
It was definitely
She's the first Black woman to have a film open up #1 in the box office.
Very true. So speak to that, please. I mean, if you can, please speak to that.
I actually realized the other week that I've almost exclusively had female directors or female identifying directors in my career, which is just really weird and I think not common. But I feel like maybe it's just the universe, like, oh, she needs that because she has a hard time speaking up for herself. But she was wonderful to watch. And I feel like she's the type of person where you can see sort of her essence infused into all of her work. Like, I don't know if you guys have seen Little Woods. Her energy and like just her vibes are in Candyman and in Little Woods, like the juxtaposition of the sunsets in Little Woods with the subject matter, and everything's always very grounded and understated and things that are funny and you're not trying too hard to make it funny. Like she's just, that is her doing that. And it's infused into everything. And even in Candyman, the color palette, even people who hate Candyman, by the way, are like, oh my, that, they're like, that movie's trash, but God, it was beautiful. And I feel like
so beautiful.
Yeah.
You can't deny that.
You would have thought there was never a murder committed in Chicago from those visuals. I'm like, God, those visuals, we'll talk about amazing, amazing.
Like the 70s flashbacks, that sort of marigold.
Yes. It was a matrixy. They took the color out, but it made you feel like you were there.
Yeah, and even the green that she used, like she wears those colors, and I have synesthesia a little bit, and like when I think about her, those are the colors I see. Like it's really weird. When I saw the movie, I was like, oh, this is I can feel her in it. Like it's just.
And she opens up the movie with the coolest juxtaposition ever. Like, because the original movie is looking down on Chicago. And then she's doing these shots where it's like you're looking from like the gutter. Like
it was like Inception, but without all the acid. It was like, okay, there's something beautiful happening here. We don't have to fold the world in. Like it was
she
beautiful.
Told you right from the opening credits, like everything that you know from the first Candyman is about to get flipped on its head, and we're gonna revisit it, and you're gonna see it in a completely different way.
And playing with her mirroring that shot
beautiful
specifically, and then using the mirrors the whole time in the movie, and then. I mean, her attention to detail is just unmatched. Like, I feel like she is constantly thinking about every single shot like that.
Well, I mean, there's I noticed some interesting parallels in you guys. Like around 2009, 2010 is like the first time you're popping up on IMDb. You both come into Candyman with being your second feature film. That was interesting to me, but I thought it was like to be her second feature film as a director, and you're dealing with mirrors, like everything has to revolve around reflection. Like that's
very hard.
That's like the crux for like how do we get this shot mapped out with mirrors? And I appreciate when I can't wrap my head around how something was done, because then I could truly get lost in the imagination of what's happening. And she pulled that off in that movie, because I'm like, how I know I know what's at play here, but how it was actually constructed is just
I believe you just gave the definition of the word we call art. So before we move on from Candyman, I wanted to ask you this: is there anything you would like to share with the fans or people that you can share non-NDA wise about your experience on set or with the film regarding Candyman that people may not know?
Well, first of all, I just want to say that Coleman Domingo is the nicest person ever. I don't know how, but I didn't know who he was before shooting that, which is embarrassing because now once I looked him up after like the day I met him, I was like, how do I not know who this guy is? But I guess he's such a character actor that he kind of just disappears in everything that he does. But yeah, like he and I had some long talks, and he's so kind and really, really like him. I think that it would be interesting for fans of the movie to know how much work went into just even the audition process for that movie. Like I have a lot of friends in the film. The guy who played Clive is my friend Brian, and then Heidi Engerman, who plays the ringleader teenager girl. We all shared audition stories back and forth to try to like gauge if they were, similar. And almost everyone auditioned somewhere between 3 and 6 times maybe more, because I think there were some additional chemistry reads. And then like even for the bathroom scene, you know, with the girls, they shot a little mini version of it in the casting director's office bathroom with all the girls there in a chemistry read to just the amount of work and attention to detail, just like planning everything out. I don't know. I feel like if I were just a fan of it, I would want to know that, because I think that's pretty cool.
It shows in the movie too, because I can't think of a single person that wasn't like perfectly fit in the role that they were playing. And Clive was. I'm okay with being called a bitch.
Listen, preparation is everything, and let that be a lesson to everyone. Preparation definitely is everything. Cassandra, ma'am, you are the real deal. I generally want to tell you this. We've interviewed over 50 people by now, if minimum 50. We interviewed so many people, but you are the genuine. Like, most people say this. This wasn't an interview. This was a conversation. I wish you nothing but the best, and I want to see you at the top.
Oh, same to you guys. Thank you.
Our next guest is a multi-award-winning actress with stellar performances on stage and film. To name a few of her many stage productions, we have A Midsummer Night's Dream, Into the Woods, Much Ado About Nothing, Hamlet, The Wiz, I know you never heard of it, The Odyssey, Romeo and Juliet, As You Like It, Macbeth, and many, many more. We just missed the 10-year anniversary of her first feature film role in 2011's Stuck Between Stations with Zoe Lister-Jones. And she most recently starred as Danielle Harrington in The Reason We Are Here, Candyman.
Hold on one second, because
I know where you're going with that. Yeah, I did that to you. I know you know what The Wiz is.
So it's time for me to get on down the road.
I know you know what The Wiz is.
Okay. Thank you.
Jeez,
you insult me. I mean, I don't know.
I didn't insult your intelligence, just your character.
My dedication to Michael Jackson is
there. You go.
Christiana Clark, I'm sorry for that outburst. Thank you very much for being here today.
I'm so glad to be here, y'all. This is already fun.
Let's talk about Candyman. It is a perfect segue. Why you sure you don't want this? You don't want to do this one now?
No, you got it.
Thank you. Let's talk about Candyman. It is obvious from your social media that you are a strong advocate for the Black Lives Matter movement. How does it feel to be part of a film that so effectively translates the sentiments of Black Lives Matter into a well-crafted mainstream horror film, with the added bonus that it has become the first film directed by a strong Black Jabari Queen type woman to open #1 in the box office? Please tell us about it.
Oh my good Lord have mercy. We filmed this in 2019, right? When the reality of police brutality and the lives lost of young Black people, men and women, we already knew, we've been living this for decades, right? Mm-hmm. But it was before it seemed like the rest of the world also had to take notice, right?
Right.
So at the time filming, for me, for the scenes that I was a part of, the fullness of it was not realized until I saw it in theaters. And I am so, so proud to be a part of this film that's not only beautiful as far as just a piece of art, but speaks so powerfully to this moment and the truth that Black folks have been living in this country and continue to live. And I think an honesty to the anger, an honesty to frustration, an honesty to the pain, but also like a strange hope of what we do with it, what we can do with it, how we can honor those that have on this plane lost to the hate and the violence, and how they're still with us as we go on. It's incredible. It's such an incredible feeling. I'm so proud, so excited, so happy to be in this film.
There's obviously strong social commentary going on throughout the whole film. It has important things to say. So I'm wondering, what does it mean? Like, when you saw it for the first time in its entirety, what did you take away from it most of all?
Oh my good Lord have mercy. Well, here's one of the things that I believe I only got to see because I went to the Chicago cast screening, which came out, I think, just the day before the official release. After the film and after the credits, there was an extra segment with Coleman Domingo sitting down with 3 or 4 practitioners within the mental health field, specifically in Black communities, and started a little bit, because it's a lot. I am one that through this, through 2020, so impacted by the reality of life, and then in taking it to wanting to take in and support Black artists, took in Lovecraft Country and them and all of these things that are so hard, as anyone, I would imagine, but I can only speak as a Black person, so hard to watch, so hard, so beautiful, but just painful. And so afterwards, with having Coleman sit and talk with people and taking a couple different scenes and talking about, the cyclical nature of things, of poverty and violence, the consistency of overextension of police force within our communities and all that stuff. To me, that was actually the most rewarding, besides also my younger brother watching it with me and like shouting out and seeing my name and seeing my face up on the screen. Like, just that alone was wonderful. But that greater thing that's bigger than me, remember, because I'm not just about me being a star, I'm about telling our whole story and all that stuff that I said, and I meant it. Was that I saw a film that didn't use our trauma and use the violence. It showed it, and it knows that we can't just rip scabs off of our wounds and then wonder why we're not healed, right? Mm-hmm. It offered a little something to me that said, okay, now what? And now what? And where can we take this?
Where does the conversation go?
Exactly.
Like you, Nia DaCosta's first credit is also in 2010. Also like you, Candyman was her second feature film. What was she like to work with?
She is the coolest person I've ever worked with, I think. And I've worked with a lot of cool people. She so knows what she wants. She has such an incredible eye. It's no extemporaneous, no BS, no filler. Like, she was about truth and letting it be. So the reason I'm in the film is because she was in Chicago to start auditioning. I was doing a Shakespeare play called The Winter's Tale at the Goodman Theater. She came to see the show and then said to the casting director, I want to see this person, bring this person in to audition. And then I auditioned, and then I got the role. Oh. So that alone says so much about her, the value of art and the value of people, for her to see me and be like, that one.
That goes back to what you were saying too about when you're doing 200 performances, even if it's the 150th performance, you don't know who's sitting in the audience. It's their first time seeing. It could be Nia DaCosta.
Yes, and lucky for me, it was. Yeah. So she was just so cool and so easy and so on top of it. Awesome. I loved working with her and would work with her 10,000 times over if I could.
In the movie, you played Daniel Harrington. It's a brief but strong performance. To me, Danielle Harrington seemed kind of a representation of an opposing force in some way, not good, not bad, but just she could change the direction of the lead characters. And there was. Who was Danielle to you, and how did you prepare for that character?
You know what? It was really a great coincidence that at the time that I filmed, I was doing a play at the Oregon Shakespeare Festival called How to Catch Creation. And in the film, I was playing a painter and art and a professor. So that academic world of art, I had already done research in with building her. Right. Mm-hmm. So then you just take that to accelerate it, out of academia in the not-for-profit world. But I have spent, especially as a theater artist, a lot of time with moneyed people who work with artists on a different level of how they see and how they see and displaying and curating and who their clientele is. So that thing about her, right? That is, you can see and appreciate the up and coming and the struggle, but because of what it can bring to this other echelon of people, that I allowed my inner bougie to take flights.
It took flight all the way.
I loved how she said,
you did such a good job because I hate her, but I like you. You did that good of a job.
Like what made me like look at her suspiciously was when she said, it was almost like it came off kind of manipulative when she was like, you change the system from the inside. And we all know, like, once you get into the inside, you don't change the system changes you. So, and
because you're not going to be inside for very long.
Yeah. So for you playing that character, when you say that line, is that something that your character really believes, or is that just manipulating, trying to get what she wants?
I don't see why it has to be one or the other, and that's how I have how I approached her. That everything she she knows how it is in a smaller smaller venue where you're not able to really focus on the art. You're trying to keep the lights on and you're trying to get things out so you can get paid so you could possibly do something next month. And I know how that is for you. You don't want to do that anymore. All that's honest also lives in this space of, but if I could get you.
The thing with your dad and your boyfriend, you would just be so good, or you just want the fucking drama. You don't want me, you want the drama. My dad killed himself, and my boyfriend's fucking going crazy. Like, I didn't like her, but again, and that's when I didn't know she was 6 feet tall. At the dinner, I just thought you were sitting up. I'm like, what is she doing? Look how perked up. I'm like, oh, she is tall. Okay, so yes, it's because you saw the scene. They went back like, whoa, she better do what she says while she crushes her or something.
The beauty, and like I said, the no extra, no pretense, no, like wanting the honesty. I remember Nia in that scene, and that was the first scene that was shot. That was actually day zero of the film. It was supposed to start, but because the times allotted for us to shoot in that museum pushed it up. So that was the first thing shot. Again, me in this first big film, riding in the van over to the venue with Tiana Paris, who have been watching, for years, and her just being so cool and so much shorter than I was. I was doing a lot more like coming to her when I was talking, and Nia would come back. Nia was like, no. Stand. That's be doing everything. Yes, be who you are. Don't come to her. Stand. You're making her come to you. And it's exactly because she knew what she wanted and what it was supposed to look like, telling the story visually as well as with the words.
And you've been preparing for, I love that shot because it's just this long take that is crawling in, and I can only imagine this is going to be one take. We're not cutting. Can you handle that? I do like a whole show in one. There's no cut.
But that was going to be my question for her. What was that learn? Because I mean, you're doing theater. She saw you. Hey, I need you. I want you now. What was that adjustment period like going right back from theater to jumping in front of the camera?
Well, it's funny that you say from doing theater one night to then being in front of the camera. It was literally that. I was at the Oregon Shakespeare Festival doing How to Catch Creation, wonderful play by Christina Anderson. It's a fantastic playwright. Anyway, I believe my first day, because I filmed 2 separate days, I believe I had a performance of How to Catch Creation that Sunday night. Monday is the theater day off. Flew to Chicago from Oregon, which is always a connection, because it's a little town, Ashland, Oregon, that I'm coming out of. Then getting into Chicago, getting to my brother and parents' house, my folks driving me over to set. We shot overnight. Then the next day, getting back on the plane, back to Oregon, and I believe there was a matinee the next day.
Wow.
So I was living that. And then the same, I think the second day of filming, which was about a month later. Bye, doggy.
What she said earlier, you'll find out pretty soon whether you're cut out for this or not. And clearly you are.
Right. And I loved it. Right. I was crazy exhausted, but I loved it. And I remember in the little Sprinter van from HQ over to set and talking with Tiana for a little bit, telling her, oh, yeah, well, we just, curtain came down at like 11 or whatnot. And then I was able to catch the flight at 6. And now I'm here. And then right as we're done, and she was just like, ooh, Lord have mercy for you.
I just want to act. I just want to film.
So, yeah. And I believe it was the reverse on the next month, that day of filming, where I think I got on a flight, filmed, and then was right off of the plane in like an hour or so later on stage.
Wow.
So each of your scenes were shot, took one day to shoot?
Literally August 9th and September 9th.
Wow,
Which was really, really cool that it worked out that I didn't have to miss a show. That was the big thing for me in that moment of like, well, I'm doing this, but I would rather not have to have an understudy in. Now the understudies are fantastic because they do the thing and are at the ready. And there was an amazing actress who would have stepped in for me, but she was also in the show. So it like would have shifted everything. And that's just a lot on people. And I was really, really glad that it didn't have to happen.
Even though it was only 2 days you're on set for, whether it was in front of the camera or outside the camera, maybe a conversation between you and Tiana, what was your favorite memory from the production of Candyman?
It was also cool because it was also fast and it was also like real. Like the people were the best of the best. The makeup and hair trailer is always like one of the favorite places. Partially for me is because I believe all of at least everyone that touched my body was an all black hair and makeup crew. And they were incredible. So many people of color that were a part of the whole filmmaking process, not just the actors on stage. And that was really, really cool. Really, really cool to me. I think maybe my favorite part, besides just literally action and doing the thing, was I was talking a lot of theater with one of the other actors, Carl. He's in the dinner scene, that first scene when Danielle and Brianna are introduced. He was in that scene. Though I think there weren't any lines from him in the version that ended up in the film, but we were all there. And Yaya filmed on that day. And I remember on our lunch break, Carl and I were at a table, talking theater or whatnot. And Yaya came and sat down. He had to be in preparation constantly, because of everything that was asked of him. So I remember trying to have a little chit chat, and he really kind of wasn't having it, not in a rude way, but just like a thing or two, an acknowledgement. But Carl said something about, I don't remember which fraternity, but Greek life from HBCU, and he was like,
he snapped out of it. What's up, bro? What's up, bro?
That was fun in its way of like watching that. And
one time,
because I've never been in.
Me neither, but that's.
But I love it. I love it, and I love how much life it lives in people that.
Hey, they live that.
Anything. I got one of my cousin Valerie Baptiste, pink and green girl. She is all day long with her sorority life and her sorors. I can't even say that.
Sorors.
That's hard. Sorors. Dirty.
Nope, I don't know.
Oh, go ahead.
I feel singled out. I thought it was really cool.
I just wanted you to say sorors.
Oh, sorors. Sorors?
Not Star Wars.
Soros. Soros.
I feel so bad for Jonathan.
Oh.
It ain't got nothing. No, wait. No. That has nothing to do with your racial or ethnic background. It all has to do with Greek life. Sorors is equal opportunity from wherever you pledged.
You're losing him right now. It's like he's watching sports or something. He's flailing. He has no idea what's going on. Yeah, he's flailing.
Yeah, I'm way outside of my lane.
Okay, it's good that you know. I love that. Because some people like to pretend that Don't pretend. Be like, I don't know. Know thyself.
Oh yeah, I know. I may not be proud of who I am, but I've accepted it.
And that's all that it takes. That's all it takes.
You about to make me spit in my coffee. That's hilarious to me.
I saw I didn't know if you knew this, but the dress that you wore, that black and white dress, is like, I saw it was in an auction on a website. It was like, this is the dress that Danielle Harrington wore in.
Shut up.
Yeah.
I'll send you the link.
After. I'll see if I can find it again. It was already sold. I can't remember what it sold for.
Were you going to bid on it?
I mean, I have no use for a dress.
Then why were you looking at it?
I was researching the episode.
That makes sense. That makes total sense. You check that out later on. This is a conversation for another time.
Thank you.
That is so cool.
And weird because you knew nothing about it. You need to find that.
Nothing about it. I would have signed it or something. I don't know. All the outfits. Oh my.
Oh yeah. Oh, wardrobe was
the wardrobes for everyone, start to finish. Just
I believe we call that a total slay. A massacre.
Total. And our costume designer has a cameo.
Really?
Where is he at?
She.
He. Them.
Okay.
Okay. So we just got monetized. We gotta be very careful about what we're doing.
Been fun, YouTube.
Where did that human play?
There you go. Our human costume designer cameos in the film at the laundromat.
Oh, is it the lady? The lady that like.
And what was so fun was, like I said, I saw it at the Chicago screener. So everyone in the audience lost their mind.
Yeah. That's awesome.
See her. And like I said, I was long gone by the time they had filmed that, so I didn't know. So it was a cool surprise.
Awesome.
Yeah. She had me dressed. I loved it all.
She did.
That was the perfect cameo for her.
It was.
Because she's like, I don't care about what's going on behind me. I'm focused on the clothes.
Right.
Yeah.
That was her will.
Christina, I just want to tell you, literally, it's been a pleasure to speak with you. We interview a lot of people, and sometimes there is truly an interview, and then sometimes it's truly a conversation. And this was really a great conversation. Even if the cameras weren't rolling, I was glad that we had this conversation. So I want to thank you for taking your time out.
Yeah.
I've been so looking forward to this, and I agree. This was just a good old time. It was wonderful to talk.
Thank you so much, Christina. You want to say thanks again?
Yes, thank you very much. I was serious about Lupita. Just let me know about that number or email address.
All right, we're about to get canceled.
Thank you very much, Christiana. We really appreciate it. Have a great night.
Oh my God, have a great night. Mwah!
Thank you very much to Cassie Kramer and Christiana Clark for joining us and taking the time to talk to us. It's time for Fucks Given. What we would change.
What we do is let you know what we would change about the film and basically if we would do anything different with it. And of course, you guys can participate with this too if you're watching it live with us now. We want to see what you would have thought about in the live chat, or if you're just catching this on another day when you're supposed to be working but watching this because you really love our show, you can place your comments there now. So Durden, I can see you have a thesis paper over there about things that you would change. So I'm just going to go ahead and say...
No, I just have one thing I would change.
Oh, go for it then.
The ending.
Okay, that's a loaded fucking question, or a loaded statement here. For me...
I don't like how they did them cops.
That's not what you mean. That's real. That's definitely not what you mean. Only thing I would change, I think they could have done a better job explaining. To me, I think it had more so. You probably would agree with this. It probably had more so to do with the acting part of it. But when the bee bit him, if you didn't see the first movie, you would probably think, oh, it's just like Spider-Man. If he got bit, you're going to be the Candyman. That's how it works. Mm-hmm. Because here's the thing. If Candyman can only appear when he's summoned, he's not like, he doesn't have control to send these bees places and like, bite that bitch, bite him, bite her, bite her, bite her. So we saw he was on Cabrini Green's ground. He got bit.
And he was specifically about to take a picture of the church that like Candyman is his headquarters.
Right. So unless there's an attack of drone bees outside, they didn't do a good enough job of explaining the lore. And if this was something they just wanted to leave up into interpretation, fine. But you got to give us I don't need you to spoon feed me, but it's some semblance. And if it is there, please reach out to us, Mr. Costa. We will. You're more than welcome to come on, and we would love to face our accusers and prosecutors. So that's the only thing I would change, because again, I would say this. Oh, I'm sorry, not the only thing. I hate any movie that whether it's the writing or the acting or sometimes both, where they try to rush. It seems like they try to rush and explain everything. Oh, this is why I was doing it, because A was B and C, and you know I love some D. And E, F, G, oh, H, I, J, K. Like whoa, these are letters, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, that was dope. So I think that the pacing was good all the way up until that point, but I still don't know if it was the writing. It was the delivery on some. I'll just say the delivery. I'm not here to bash anybody.
It's hard to tell. Like maybe if the performance, if it was delivered a little bit. Let's see it in the review. I think we're in the review now.
Yeah, we are. We're in the shit.
Yes. It is a good movie. It's like Cassie said in our conversations. Like even people that don't like the movie can't argue about the fact that it's like well shot. It looks beautiful. Mm-hmm. I totally agree with that.
100%. The cinematography was top notch. Mm-hmm. Top notch.
But I was left unsatisfied at the end of it for a couple of reasons. It's almost like they tried to do too much, then got to the ending and realized that it's not clear enough. We need to have somebody call Mr. Domingo, get him in here. And he's like standing on the stage, like literally giving a sermon that is an exposition of like, let me explain everything that's happening overly. And
this neighborhood got caught in a loop.
Like we just found out you were the fucking villain, really. So you don't get to split. No, villains take time. You know why I did this. They're like, okay, I didn't get that.
Yeah, but I'll get right back to that. But visually, it looks great. The direction and cinematography is awesome. The editing and pacing keeps things moving nicely. I was completely engaged the whole time. I really liked how they cut scenes together, and you're kind of getting moments at the same time. The mystery and allure of the film that was cultivated in the first 2 acts is totally demolished in the last 15 minutes when they try to over-explain everything and ultimately just made the whole movie too information heavy to be enjoyable. Because I'm sitting there, I'm trying to like put everything together that this dude's saying. Now I'm not enjoying the visuals. Right. And as I'm trying to put things together, shit is not adding up. Like he's giving me too much.
He's poking plot holes in you as every word he says.
No, this isn't making sense. They did a great, there's so much that he was relying on to go right. Like, first of all, isn't what has already happened up until that point in the movie enough to carry on the legacy? Like, why is he? Does there have to be a hook? Does it have to be the same jacket?
Or does it have to be a witness? There's been people murdered about it now. Like it's there.
And you're gonna trust that his girlfriend is going to do your bidding for you to carry on this thing, and you're going to trust that the cops show up and do exactly what they're supposed to do. But in
fairness, he wasn't crazy for that part because he had seen it before. He'd seen it twice. He had seen it. He'd been a part of it. So it was that's some smart writing right there. My problem with it was, like you just said,
but they never established his motives.
He said, now I have a witness. My point was, did you think she was just going to go back and lie and say, oh, it's Candyman? Like, no, it's some crazy motherfucker from the projects. It was him.
But what was William Burke's? Like that's what got to me is like,
what was his motive?
Yeah, why is this dude so adamant about?
Because the way they wanted it portrayed is, in my opinion, and from the things that I saw, is that he was all about, if you notice, he always talked about the cycle and gentrification. Remember, that was one of the, first off, we were so shocked that he showed up at the beginning out of no fucking where, almost like a Tyler Durden thing, like he's there. You don't even know if he's truly there or not, but when he gets there, he was like, yeah, the old neighborhood, this, he's like, I'm the only one left, this, that, I'm trying to make it. It was a weak statement, but a weak reasoning why, but that was his thing. He didn't want them. He thought that because remember, the Candyman lore was out there, but he wanted it for Cabrini. He was trying to save the historical meaning behind Cabrini. So he's like, wait a minute. If they think this Candyman shit popping off again here, it's going to drive the value of Cabrini down, and they won't fuck with it. Yeah. That was his thing there.
They didn't stick the landing, and then the whole scene at the end with the cops when they come in and shoot him, that just felt rushed, and he's laying in her lap, and they come in and shoot him in her lap,
and now he's on the ground.
Yeah, much of that didn't. It was like,
and then she goes all Pulp Fiction on us.
Yeah,
they're like checking for the bullets and stuff, and I'm like,
you're not fooling me. I never for once thought that you were the one shot. What are you? This like,
you know why? Because again, like you say, the ending felt rushed, and I can't knock you on that because it was like, oh shit, we don't have the technical expertise to shoot this, so we just can't show it, and then we'll just show him on the ground. Nobody thought like, wait a minute, shouldn't he still be right in front of her?
The way I looked at it, I was like, it was like when we're doing a movie, it's like, oh man, fuck, so-and-so didn't show up. He was supposed to play the cop. Well, this guy was already in the movie. We'll just have to have his shadow come in real quick and say, get down.
Right.
Like they give you all, they're like, giving it to you, perfect pacing, the whole movie, setting everything up. And at the end, they just like blow the load. And
I just really wish they would have, like the Todd, give Todd at least 5 more minutes.
Yeah,
and let him come and kill Birch and be like, you think you motherfucker. Like maybe this time he didn't have to be summoned. He came for him. He was the first time he came for him because he was really fucking it up. Like, number one, bitch, I'm gonna be the only Candyman, and number two, you're trying. What are you? So maybe he came for that. So maybe that could have been new to the lore. But I agree with you. The ending could have been better there.
Yeah, that and like
keep going because I got something.
It just relied on so much that. Like my suspension of disbelief was blown at the end of the movie.
They did such a good, like you said, they did such a good job and just fumbled it at the end.
Yeah, it's like they decided this is what we want to happen at the end. This is the visual we see in our head. We want this is what it's all leading to. And then they got to the third act and they weren't anywhere near that.
Where they need to be. Yeah.
Did at the expense of the story, they just rush things to get to that point.
And that's why I believe most people came out confused because, like you say, they were like, well, it was cool. It was this, that, and the other, but they didn't get it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then even when she's sitting in the back of the car and she says,
that really pissed you off.
Candyman. The cop is like, what are you doing? What's that? How does he not know? That he just said in the car, like, yeah, we've been looking for him for a while.
Like, and I'm almost certain this was, tell me if I'm wrong, this might have been a glitch. I'm gonna go back and watch it again. I think she says it 4 times and then the cop says it once.
Oh, yeah.
Like, so now we're bending the rules now? What the fuck's going on?
Yeah.
He said he didn't be here yet.
Yeah.
Somebody has some more to say. So to me, that was like, well, what's going on with that? Do you remember that or am I wrong?
Yeah.
Okay.
She said it 4 times. He said it the 5th time for
Somebody needs to tell me about that.
The other thing that fucked me, like when the cops come in and they shoot him, he is like, obviously this is something that happens in reality. Like, right. I'm not going to sit here and try to say that's unbelievable that a cops was shooting an unarmed black man. But this particular unarmed black man was laying bleeding out at death's door in his girlfriend's arms. Cops are all about self-preservation. Are they really going to put themselves through, like, in the potential of, like, having PR trouble or reprimandations or anything like that? All they had to do was wait it out. He was dying already. Like, the fact that they came in and shot him, because
it's like, they couldn't just let him die because then they didn't have anything. They had to make a statement because they already had a story as soon as he got in the car. So she hit him with some training day shit. Los Angeles police officer was killed serving a high risk. Well, like, he already had the story ready when he got in the car. So I mean, I'm not justifying it. I agree with you. I think the sad part about this is that because they rushed that part trying to make all these things fit at the end, is that like you just said, you didn't get to see the beautiful thing that was happening. You didn't get to appreciate that Todd was out there fucking people up, because you're still trying to figure out, well, I know he's here now, but what happened is, like, that, I'm like, oh, that's where all the money went at. When he started flying with those fucking bees, that shit looked real. But go ahead, I'm sorry.
Yeah, there's just the ending. And Coleman Domingo's William Burke, when he starts going off in the church and he's doing that, like I don't know what direction he received or what movie he thought he was in, but it didn't match up with anything that I'd seen previously. Like, he's just so over the top. Like, I'm gonna be the baddest baddie ever. Right? Like,
and he calls the cops.
Yeah.
That
just almost blew it. I'll wrap it up with my last paragraph. If they would have done everything the same but left out the part about Anthony being necessary to revive the myth of Candyman and the overly constructed plot that plays out in the ending, this would have been a 4 or a 5 for me. Anthony being the center of the whole thing, it just should have been more cryptic, less like wordy and saying everything that's happening, exposition. It could have just been a cryptic thing about how you cannot escape destiny once your fate is sealed. So it draws an artist back to the roots of trauma that happened to him as a child as he peels back the layers. It has serious psychological effects on him. And because of his artwork, Candyman makes his way back into the thoughts of the community where he can do what he does. That's what they like. All of that explanation at the end and everything just wasn't. I I could have assumed that he was necessary in reviving the myth of Candyman. All of it didn't have to be some other dude's plot. William Burke wasn't necessary at all. Yeah, that character just could have been totally cut from the movie, and it just could have been Anthony's trying to navigate this, not really knowing what's going on. So we don't really know what's going on. Just this creepy shit is happening. This transformation is happening. His artwork's getting darker. And then the Candyman comes back through that. And that's how Anthony is necessary in carrying on the legacy. Like, it being some dude's mission to, like, construct a myth out of, or to bring a myth back to life and orchestrate and manipulate real life events in order to get people to talk about something and to bring back this mythical figure. I wished it would have went a different direction in the third act. But again, the whole movie was it was well shot. Most of the performances were fantastic. The pacing was great. They just dropped the ball in literally like the last 7 to 8 minutes, and not. When he's killing the cops, that part was even badass. Like, you hear the theme song that was playing in the beginning, it comes back for a reprise. Like, it's almost like his superhero theme, and the bees swarming and the levitating, and like, it was a powerful climax. But that all still could have happened without all of the explaining and William Burke orchestrating everything. It just could have played out naturally without somebody manipulating it from the outside. So it would have been a 4 or 5 if they would have stuck the landing, but I give it a 3.5 because it was still a solid film, and I didn't feel like I wasted my time after watching it. And I will say they did a great job, like, connecting it to the first film organically, like not forcing too many connections to the first film, but really like taking that story and expanding on it, and then connecting back to it with Anthony being that baby that was saved at the end of the first one. That was all really cool. They did it was great 99% of the time.
Okay, there's a flip side to that coin.
Okay.
All right, now I'm going to dive directly into, well, first I'll start by this. The movie itself struck on a lot of great chords. Let's go ahead and call that for what it is. Number one, whenever a movie can transcend and reach cultural aspects and have people do things in relation to the films, whether us doing a show and talking about it and things of that nature, that's when art's starting to work. But then when art transforms back into, or should I say transcends back into life, it has us do things like we did today. Clearly, you have on a shirt. Could you tell them what your shirt says and what it means?
My shirt says George Junius Stinney Jr. I don't know. I don't know if he was the first, either the first or the only child to be executed, tried as an adult. Happened in the.
Don't give him any more.
Just Google him. Look him up.
There we go. Thank you. And that's what we do here at this show. And if you see, my shirt says, of course, Tulsa 1921. You can literally, that was called Black Wall Street. And let's just say, how does the saying go? I want to defend this country from all enemies, foreign and domestic. So yeah, you just want to Google that. And that's why I say this film did a great, I love any film, no matter what culture, whether it's Asian culture or French, it doesn't matter. Whatever a person's culture is, if they can bring me into their world and teach me stuff about them I do not know, I love that. And see, I've always been a fan of film. No matter what the genre was, or whether it's a white director, woman director, black director, I don't care about that. I'm an artist. The only problem I always had is that we were never given the opportunity to depict things intelligently, have wit, and do it our way without it being called blaxploitation, or that's just a black film. Like, I hate that fucking term, because guess what? When I see a bad white film, I don't say oh, it's just a white film. That shit just sucks. Movies, they're either good or they're not. All right. Yeah. So with that being said, I challenge you to, I spoke to you about this in the garage earlier before. We normally don't talk too much about it, but I brought it up. Coleman's character, William Burke, this is the little boy we meet at the beginning. Now imagine being 5, 6, 7 years old. You get freaked out by Sherman coming out of the wall. And then as he's coming out of the wall, you yell, but then you realize he's not really there to hurt you. So it's a little crazy. It's real crazy to see that. But he sees 30 cops after swarming every other room because they're doing shoddy police work, and they rush past him and they kill this man off screen, but they kill him. So this child has just witnessed a black man be
killed who was an innocent man. So that fucks with you as a child. Okay, so maybe you go to therapy for about 6, 7, 8 years. You're finally starting to get your shit together. Like, all right, that shit happened. Hey, toughen up. It shit happened to everybody. Then you're begging your sister to play a game. You should think you have enough. You shouldn't want to be playing any fucking games. But anyway, you beg your sister to play this game. Your sister's like, nah. And the same Lord that happened to you as a child that sent you that you thought you went to therapy. Now you're really fucked up in the head. Now your sister gets murdered. Not only your sister gets murdered, you actually see Candyman. He sees so he knows that Candyman is real. So this is what I tell you. I believe this motherfucker was in the room next to Arthur Fleck. And the reason why I tell you that, bro, I don't mean literally, but you know what I mean, in the crazy house. Because in his mind, you heard how you was saying it before. He's like, and he's made it up in his mind. There's not a Candyman, there's Candymen. And for every racial injustice, he has been brought from the brinks of hell to come strike a mighty fence against racism. This motherfucker is crazy is what I'm trying to tell you. So in my mind, there's another lesson going on here. We first meet him. Maybe he's on his meds. He's cool. He's calm. By the end, he's completely unraveled. He's like, yes, finally a witness. I've been telling these motherfuckers for years. This shit's been going. You know, if they would have told you he was a mental health patient, you wouldn't have thought twice about it. So I'm like, oh shit, I see what they're going for. Now, but you have to be careful when you go for that because you can miss people. Everybody isn't going to do what I just did. So I think when they wrote it, it was brilliant. And somebody was probably like, hey man, Coleman, you gotta go crazy, man. They knew how to write it. They didn't know how to act to tell him what to do. So they were like, man, just go up there and they did a couple of takes. But I think writing wise, script wise, it was brilliant. Because they had the groundwork for what they were doing. Like you say, they did connect Anthony being the baby survivor.
No, it wasn't brilliant writing wise. I'm telling you, because if you
poke the hole there, wow.
Because listen to how much explaining he does at the end. It's probably 3 to 4 pages of dialogue. You should not have at the end of your script.
They shouldn't
3 to 4 pages of dialogue to make sure the audience knows what's going on. We're at the end of the movie now. But I should know.
I contest he's not explaining what's going on. He's telling you. It's almost like walking down the street, you see a crazy person talking to himself. He was not that. It had nothing to do with the play. That had nothing to do with what was going on. I think they wrote he should just he has a mental breakdown right there. That's what I thought. I don't think that everything he's saying is not what they were truly saying. What's happening?
It has nothing to do with the plot.
Then why is it in
right
there?
Back to my point.
Yeah, I don't fucking know.
Is pointless. It sure as hell shouldn't be a part of the climax of the film.
Well, I'm telling you what happened. I'm saying that I believe they were almost at brilliance. They were right there at brilliance, and then they teetered. I just didn't want you to. I understand how disappointed you were in Coleman. And I understand why. I'm just simply saying that there was a mission, a mark there. They just missed it, but it was one of those marks that, hey, you realize if you miss this, it's going to go way left. It's not going to be like, oh man, that's damn near classic. Like, no, it was right there. It's still a good film, but at least it reached for the opportunity to be a classic, a true standalone classic to where you can be like, man, Candyman and this Candyman, doesn't matter which one. It was almost classic. That's what I'm trying to say. It was that close. But I just want to explain.
I hope that they get a sequel so they have the opportunity to kind of like put a bow on all that a little bit.
Well, I'm gonna put a bow on it for you because this is really even gonna fuck your mind up even more. I didn't hear you mention this one time. What truly did happen was their spirits meshed. That is Anthony's voice and Todd's voice at the beginning. He's like, what if they such and so? He was like, they're the same person now. They have now meshed. So that baby we thought survived from the first film never fucking survived. Baby was gonna be fucked up anyway. You know, so with that being said, that is him. And I thought it was so brilliant. Like, this was the first time Candyman was called for justice. Like, that shit maybe that's what it was. He needed her to
bat signal.
Right. Like, you're correct. She's like, I'll tell you whatever you want to know if you want to put that mirror on me. I bet he was like, what kind of freaky shit is this? And she was like, Candyman. Well, I'm sorry. She says the word 4 times. And then he says it the last time. And I was like, I was on some Friday. We just did something for Friday. I was like, oh, shit. So when he comes out, that mother, hey, listen, he be like, when he came out and the way he killed them, and I was like, okay, normally, and remember, this is how it works. He's only supposed to come for the person who said it. This time he came in the name of racism, and this is all fault. He knew what had just happened. And he didn't just kill the person who said it, the one cop. That's the one he fucked up the most to keep the lore going. So their spirits
Why
did
did he
hurt.
get out of the car? Why did he was home
Why-
free?
he
He's
was home
already,
free.
he's
Yeah, you
already
said it.
in his escape vehicle. You
Right.
saw, like,
Yeah.
you just watched your partners load him up with lead, and it did nothing. What are you getting out of the car, pointing your gun for? Just get the fuck out of there. Put it in reverse and go.
Right. At least it didn't radio for backup. That would have been just as stupid. But I will say this, like all in all, for what the film, again, the visuals, A+, writing, B+, acting wise, as far as all around cast gets a solid A- for all around cast, A-. As far as keeping it real goes, A+, plus. Also, to bring up the category of mental illness, A+, just not delivered the right way, but the category of it coming up, they did. I think that's most people missed that plot. It was because they now that's, I'm not gonna say they meant to write it this way, but my mind is that's how even more brilliant the writing was, is because of the fact that it shows that nobody cares in our neighborhood about pretty much black people being crazy. It shit goes, it just almost goes back to the Joker. They took me off my medicine. I told you he was riding blind with Dr. Fleck. So with all that being said, I gotta give this movie, I know we do by 0.5s, I can't do 0.6, 0.7, 0.8. I'm going to give it a 4.
A 4.
Yeah, I'm giving it a 4, man.
That's yeah, I could agree with that. I still stick to my 3.5.
Coleman did it to you. Coleman brought this whole castle down for you.
I'd be more.
And in fairness, was it Coleman or what they told Coleman to do? I'm not saying Coleman being a horrible actor.
No.
I think he was put in an impossible position. Hey, Coleman, explain this whole movie in 2 minutes. Go.
Because he was great
Elevator
in the first
pitch.
half of the movie. It's
Yeah.
just like when he went off the rails on him, like, this doesn't. You didn't earn this moment. This moment was not earned. So we gave it a 7.5 total. 3.75. That is the flying fucks that Candyman receives. Yeah, I think that's fair. I would have been less angry if the whole movie sucked. It pissed me off so bad because it's like, oh my
They
god,
got you ready.
You were right there.
Yeah,
you were right there.
Right there.
Just a few little things like the.
And then the way she stabbed, I told she stabbed him for you, and that's for dirt, and he didn't like you.
What the hell is that about, man?
Yeah,
He's dead.
Right, like that.
He's dead.
That's why they arrested you. They was probably gonna let you fucking go till they saw the 27 fucking stab wounds. They're like, this bitch did our work for us.
That was a crime of passion. She was harboring shit ever since her dad jumped out of the window.
He trying to almost look like her dad a little bit, you know what I'm saying? But anyway,
I'm tired of you crazy motherfuckers fucking up my day.
Jesus.
Stay away from me,
bitch.
Get all the way the fuck back. All right, real quick. This never happens, but after the episode, we were in the garage and we were talking, and this was just too good not to share. We talked a lot of shit about the ending of Candyman, and we're not just gonna say you shouldn't have done it this way. This is the way it should have been done.
Oh, yeah.
You set it up. Anthony and his girlfriend, you set up the altercation there. They're fighting. They're not on good terms. His girlfriend's brother, he's already suspicious of Anthony and is like right on the edge, just looking for any reason to do something to him. He's suspicious of him already. Burke was not needed. For whatever reason, towards the end, Anthony after his girlfriend leaves him, he feels this drawing to go to that church. He's like compelled to go there for some reason because he's being transformed into Candyman. So he ends up at the church. Maybe his girlfriend's following his GPS or something. She's worried about him. She needs to find out what's happening. Her brother is like, fine, if you're gonna go, I'm going with you. Her brother and her, they go to the church. Her brother's waiting in the car. She goes inside. She sees what he's become. Maybe she's just terrified. She screams. Her brother doesn't even think to ask questions. What the fuck is he doing to my sister? He calls the cops. The cops show up. They arrest her. Whatever. She ends up in jail. She's sitting in jail. They're interrogating her, asking her questions. She looks into the mirror in the interrogation room
and says that name 5 times.
He comes into that police station Terminator style and just takes out the whole police
But
force.
before he says that, what does he say? Time to paint.
Yeah, time to paint, yeah. That's the way it should have ended. All right, back to the show. All right, 3.75. Good job. I mean, DaCosta did a great job directing it. There's no lying about that. I just think things got lost in the weeds at the end a little bit.
Well, I know what did get lost in the weeds, the lungs, because it was smoking in and out that movie. And hey, never mind. Guys, you know what time it is. Close those legs. That's enough of that coming. It's time to Coming Attractions, our 1-year anniversary special covering our very own film, I'm Gonna Kill Someone, this Friday. Originally scheduled for last month, will premiere on October 22nd. And why? Because we fucking said so.
I mean, what the hell? It works perfect this way. We have October is now 3. We're doing 3 horror films in October. We're starting with Candyman. We got Kill coming up, and we're gonna wrap up Halloween, the month of Halloween on Halloween itself, October 31st. Hang out with us for a very special Halloween episode covering The People Under the Stairs with the Stairmaster himself, Mr. Jan Burke. We return to normal programming schedule on the first Thursday of November with Die Hard.
Greatest Christmas story ever told.
Yeah, and we're working on some guests for that.
Hey, Bruce,
shaping up.
Pick up. It's Argyle.
Hey man, what'd your lady say?
So G character, they drew this motherfucker.
Yeah, I'm just in the limo dancing. Oh, why he goes upstairs and saves the world. All I can do down here is drink. Yep. What the fuck does that mean? With the beehive and the jive posse, what the fuck does that mean?
Right there.
Yeah, that's right.
Candyman.
That's all right.
No, get the fuck away from me.
Goodbye. Why don't you subscribe? It'll last longer.